Yo, yo, yo. Mic check, mic check. One, two, three. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Today we have another amazing topic for y'all to listen to, and I hope you guys can resonate or learn something new today. But yeah, a quote of the day. We'll start off.
A room without books is like a body without a soul.
Ooh,
That's deep.
that's deep, bro.
That hits deep.
So based on that quote, our topic today is about reading and communicating. We're just gonna, cause they go hand in hand together, and we will talk about it right now. So basically, before we get into everything, we're just gonna tackle why you struggle with communicating. And you want to start off with that?
So the reason most people struggle to communicate comes down to the level of knowledge that you possess. For example, I was watching a Jordan Peterson clip late at night, and it really hit deep because I could relate to it. For example, he was talking about university professors, and most of you who are listening are in university, and you know that whenever there's a new prof, for example, they're teaching for their very first time or they're very new at it, their lectures are so boring, so stagnant. You get so tired of it. You're like, yo, you have your hand on,
Facts.
you have your head on one hand, and you're just like, dude, when is this gonna end? And why is that? It's because their lectures are so structured to only what they know, so they don't further elaborate on other concepts that can tie into what you're learning. You know what I mean? So it just gets so boring, and I feel like the more you know, which is what Jordan Peterson was saying, is that the more you know, the better you will be at communicating.
My question is for you, cause you're in law, and I'm taking business. How are your lectures like? Because for my lectures, my professors, they know, because in business, right, you talk about theory and then you try to apply to the real world. And a lot of the real world is like a business basically runs the world. Let's be honest, right? So whenever they talk about theory, they always relate it back to their office and what they know and what they experience. So for me, it's very engaging in class. Like I really like my lectures because they always relate it back to the real world. So I'm just wondering, because I haven't been to like a poli-sci class or like a lecture from there. Yeah.
I'll give you a great example. So the other day, me and my brother were talking about, I'm not sure if you've heard or if you guys have heard the decriminalization of certain drugs within BC. And so since I'm taking a law and society class, I've been learning on how weird the laws are in Canada, right? And there's lots of gaps in it. But besides all of that, I used that knowledge to talk to him and say that, because he thought it was legal. And I was just like, no, it's not legal. It's just decriminalized, but you still can't buy it. Like, if you get caught with it, there's no, charge. Like, you won't get criminally charged, but you're still not allowed to buy it, because then that means that it's they've decriminalized you selling the product as well, which they haven't, because if you were allowed to sell it, then that means it'd be legalized. In small increments, because that's what it is, right? I think it's 2.5 grams. Yeah, it's 2.5 grams. If you have certain drugs, for example, like cocaine, heroin, opioids, these sort of things, if you have them, you won't get criminally charged, but you're still not allowed to sell them. So I've learned that in class.
Yeah.
So when I was talking to him, I was like, this is how it works. And he was like, that makes no sense. And I'm like, yeah, I know it makes no sense. And that's literally what our entire law system is. It makes no sense. There's way too many holes in it. Especially when you're interpreting statutes and different things. It's very confusing. Even I'm sitting in class, and even my professor was saying that you won't be able to understand this because it's so complicated. Even people in higher positions, like for example, Supreme Court of Canada, when they have high cases, it comes down to the interpretation of a single word.
Yeah.
Right? And interpretations are subjective, so it's always changing, right? So that knowledge that I learned in class, I was able to apply it to that conversation. And even with my sociology classes, when I learn different statistics and stuff, I can apply that to some sort of conversations that I'm having or debates, because I'm always in conflict with other people around me. You know who you are.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
what I learn, I always apply it, which is as much. I don't like being tested on what I've learned because I'm horrible at tests. But I can always apply it. I can always apply it in real world situations, which is why I actually like my degree. I just hate being tested.
Okay. Well, we won't get sidetracked on that, but I'll just touch on a certain part is where like in the school system, for example, on a lot of my classes I just do it for memorization, but the classes I really love that relates to the real world, I love it so much. For example, economics and macro. If you guys are in business or have taken macro, I always say this to people. I loved macroeconomics. Most people hate it. Whatever, it's fine, right? But I loved it.
Sorry,
yeah, because it relates to the world. Inflation rates, subsidy taxes, all these things, basically trading with each other in a macro scale in the world, globalization, all that stuff. It relates to what was going on, especially it was last year. In terms of the gas prices, what was going on in the proxy war in Ukraine affected everything that's going on here because of the trading. And I was like, okay. And then you know how the price expectations. Remember, our gas price expectation was what? 80 cents. 80 cents. Remember, 80 cents per liter. That was like 20 before COVID hit. And then our price expectation was like, okay, $1, $1.10. And then it rose to $1.90.
Yeah.
And then when it went back to like $1.60, people were like, yo, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
Because why? Our price expectation changed. Whatever. Those are the things I learned. And that's what I love is when classes that relate to yourself and you have an emotion to it is so much more beneficial to classes where I'm just going to do this because I want to memorize it and get a good grade. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, why we get to that is because why you struggle to communicate is a lack of knowledge or literacy that you have. For example, in this podcast, right now, because we have a podcast, our whole lifestyle has changed. Before, we used to hate reading. Before, we just used to like look on our phones, TikTok every day, play games like all the time. And it was just school, gym, or whatever. But now, because we have a podcast, we need to be able to talk about a lot of things that's interesting and engaging, that's current events that's relevant to the world and to ourselves. But the reason is that we're always trying to learn something new, so we have something to talk about. If we don't learn anything, what are we going to talk about? The same thing over and over again? No, it doesn't make any sense. But with us, the reason why we're trying to do this thing is now we are reading more. And I feel like when you read more, you communicate better. And that translates to what he said, is that when professors talk, they're only limited to what they know, not what they say. Not everything else they know that can correlate back or result back to what they were talking about originally in the lecture. You know?
Yeah. Let's move on to why is communication important and how to get better at it.
Yeah.
You go first on this one.
I think I kind of touched on it when I was reading, but we'll just restart from the part. So basically, communication is very important for many reasons. First and foremost, it helps us build relationships by allowing us to share our experiences, our needs, our stories to other people, and it basically just creates connections. And I always say this to people, connections is key in life. You've probably heard me say that so many times, but connections is key. You can't get anywhere in this life without connections. And that's facts.
So yeah, guys, this raises the question, why is communication important and how to get better at it? So I'll let you touch on that.
So I've said this so many times, is that connections is key in life. In anything, you can't really do anything in life or get anywhere in life without a connection, and that is facts. You can't, like, for example, just something as a part-time job. It's so much easier to get into a job if you know somebody there, or if you know the manager, if your parents know somebody there, or let's say, for example, Osman works at Foot Locker and I know him. I'm like, yo, can you refer me to Foot Locker, bro? How much more easier is that? Compared to, okay, I'm literally starting from nothing, ground up. I'm trying to get to Neo Financial. I'm trying to get to Suncor. if you know nobody, it's hard. It'll be hard. Yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's significantly harder, and it decreases your chances. I know one guy who got into the top 4 companies in Calgary without an interview. Why? Because he has a connection. And how do you make connections, bro? How do you make connections, Usman? Tell me.
You got to get out of your comfort zone and meet new people.
And how do you meet new people and get out of your comfort zone? What is the key factor or structure about that?
You need to be able to be articulate.
And
literate.
communicate.
And
Exactly.
communicate, yeah.
And most people, obviously, it's literally common sense. But the more you're able to communicate, the more you're able to talk your way into things or out of things, the better you will be and the more successful you will become. Connections is so important in life. And really, like, why is it important? It helps us build relationships by allowing us to share our experiences, our needs, relatability, and help us connect to others. It is also a means to excel. It helps us to direct us towards what you want the most out of life and what you desire, develop strong friendships, and have proper human interaction. Oh my goodness, I'm just going to have a little rant here, okay? No offense to anybody, but I'm just saying, I love the people when I meet somebody and I say hello or I say what's up, you know, they reciprocate the energy and I can tell, like, you know, it's engaging. Sure, you may not want to talk to me. You probably think, oh, what is this guy trying to say, blah, blah, blah. But I like that some people can reciprocate the energy, and if I never talk to them again, it's fine. But the ones that really cannot reciprocate the energy or, like, try to at least, like, have some proper human interaction, I know it's hard. Maybe, like, there's something, they're probably going through something, or there's just a mental struggle there, and I get it, you know, it's fine. But it really shows you, for other humans, a human to human interaction, if someone is disengaged or doesn't really want to talk to you or is very, very flat. Like, I'll be honest, I go up to a lot of people and stuff like that. So if you don't want to talk to me, it's fine. It's part of the risk I'm gonna take. You can reject me. You can reject others. Be like, oh, sorry, I really just don't want to talk to you. Like, I think blah 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 or anything. Just say anything. Just be upfront and be straight up. Compared to if I were to say hi to you and then you're looking in the distance, or you're being so quiet or being so shy, or just saying one word answers. Like, for example, I say hello, they'd be like, hi. Oh, what's your name? John. Or LeBron. Right? How are you doing? I'm great. Like, you know, just be more human communication, because if you can't even communicate to somebody you don't want to talk to, how are you going to communicate to your boss or to your manager or to somewhere you're trying to become or some place you're trying to go? You're not going to like everybody. So be it. Then just learn how to properly communicate. It's not being fake. It's more so being a human being. That's all I have to say. So that's my rant.
Yeah, clearly he's frustrated, guys. Whoever is talking to him, y'all better step up your game.
No, there's a lot, bro. I mean, there's a lot of great people. It's just like just a few interactions, you know. But hey, life is life. You live and you learn. But anyways, so how to get better at it? Let's target that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep referring back to the Jordan Peterson video because, guys, you need to understand how intelligent this man is. He's actually, like, on another level. And he was basically saying, obviously, to read and to write more. That's the biggest thing. And then he was saying, that's input. And then in terms of output, what you need to do is, I forgot what he said.
Okay. I think I remember what he said.
What did he say in terms of output?
Okay, so in terms of input is you reading, you try to learn everything. You try to learn a lot of things. And output is like techniques. So when you're talking to individuals of 1,000 people, you're not talking to 1,000 people individually. That is scary. But if you talk to 1,000 people individually, so let's say you're in a group setting, a presentation, okay? And you talk to them individually, like I look at you. you're gonna talk to them as a normal human being, like how you talk to your mother, how you talk to your brother or sister or a friend. It's more organic and more fluid. If you're gonna talk to a crowd, yeah, it gets intimidating. Yeah, it gets scary.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So the technique is that know exactly what you're saying, know 10 times more what you're saying, but then you talk to people as if they're a human. It's as simple as that. It's really as simple as that. And that's the best way to communicate. Like, right now we're talking to the camera, and we're pretending that it's a human being.
We love you.
We love you. All of you. But, whoever's listening, whoever's watching, we're talking to you as if you are in front of us right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it, guys. I've been there. For those of you who went to junior high with me, y'all better remember my amazing speech. You remember my speech?
No, I don't remember.
At grad?
Oh,
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, guys. I gave an entire speech. There was 8 kids.
8 kids?
4 girls, 4 guys from each class.
I thought the crowd was 8.
No, man.
No, okay, yeah.
So there were 4 girls, 4 guys. Your boy got selected to do it, and I used to be very different at that age in terms of how confident I was. I still have confidence, but at that age it was just on a different level, and I was very comfortable with speaking in front of lots and lots of people. So it was our graduation ceremony, and I knew how the other kids were, and I'm like, hey, I'm about to step this up. So while I was speaking, unfortunately I couldn't go off script because I would have got in trouble, and your boy didn't want that at that time. So basically how I would say my words, I made it more engaging. And there were a bunch of parents. It's like an entire grade's parents, siblings, stuff like that. So it was a packed gym, and I was like tripping low key, but I was like, nah, your boy ain't about to sell out like that. So I went up, I was engaging, and then how did I get the audience to react with me? I said, make sure you guys have fun, and don't listen to your parents tonight. And everyone started laughing, but that's what I bet some parents were like, yo, what's wrong with this kid?
Yeah.
But that's how you engage an audience. You gotta get them to laugh. Or like even in high school, we were doing a presentation, me and my friends, and if you guys were in class with me then, you'd know as well that what I did was I went up to my teacher and I'm like, listen, everyone's doing presentations and this is great, but there's no reaction or engagement from the audience, the people I'm talking to. So I'm like to her, I'm gonna get them to engage with me, right? And she's like, do whatever you have to do. I'm like, aye, solid, got the green light. It's time to go. So I got them to do the most like randomest thing. It had nothing to do with what I was talking about, but just to get them, because I feel like the beginning of your conversation is the most important.
Yeah.
Like literally within the first 5 seconds. When I go to class and my prof starts talking, within the first like 2 minutes, I already know like, okay, today's gonna be boring or today's gonna be fun.
Yep.
So I got them to stand up, and I'm like, I want you guys to rub your belly with your left hand and tap your head. And they were all looking at me like, yo, what's this guy on? Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I just wanted to make you guys do that for fun.
Yeah, that's good, man.
And then they just sat down and they were laughing.
That's good. For real.
And then they were more engaged throughout the rest of the presentation. So, you know what? We got bonus marks for that as well.
You know what? Since we're at it, let's give presentation tips. Okay? Because I relate to that, bro. Because that is a great way to, one, get your audience engaged, and 2, for people to be interested in what you're going to be talking about. Right? Oh, my goodness. Again, I'm not going to go on a rant. Don't worry. Don't worry. But when I listen to people's presentations, I can just tell they're doing it because they just want to get there and then get out of there.
Just forced.
Get out of there. But when you're presenting, man, I know it's harder for a lot of other people, but presentations, I love it. I love presentations. Why? Because you get to showcase the entire class how smart you truly are. You know what I'm saying? Or how engaging or how fun you truly are. Bro, when some presentations, because in business classes, there's a lot of presentations. I about to fall asleep I'll be honest, to like 80% of them. But the people who are engaging, I can tell they're first literally smart, literacy smart. They're mentally smart. They're mathematically smart. They're business smart, and then they know how to communicate. And bro, they have all aspects. That's how you know. For example, let me tell you. One time, in my Sigma class, because Sigma is a very presentation group project based class. I'll be honest with you, half the presentations I was about to fall asleep, except for one, Matab, my G Matab. You know, I really like him, and then my other two friends where they were really engaging, and as you can tell, they're also my boys. But anyways, and then it was our turn, and I was like, boys, I was looking at my group, I'm thinking, literally 2 minutes before we go up, how can I make this better? Because I remember our professor was like, if you really want a good grade, you got to do something extraordinary other than just speaking and talking to a screen, right? And then, so our company was BMO. That was our company we had to target. And basically, one of my part was the market share of BMO. And BMO market share, I'm pretty sure you guys know this, whatever bank you're with, not many people have BMO. So their market share is very low or very insignificant compared to other banks like TD or Scotiabank or RBC, right? So there's a lot of competition that BMO faces. But for me, I have BMO. I'm with BMO Bank. So what I did, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a risk.
Wait. One, sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. You say BMO
or BMO, bro. Like BMO.
Bro, this is BMO.
Bro, it's
BMO.
No, it's BMO.
It's BMO.
It's BMO.
It's BMO.
Okay, it's BMO or BMO.
It's BMO.
I say BMO. Oh wait, no, I think it is. BMO. My
I was really twitching here. This guy kept saying BMO.
My apologies. BMO. So basically, BMO has low insignificant market share compared to the rest of competitors of banks, correct? So I was like, okay, let me take a risk here. Let me see and apply this information that I researched and I know and apply it to the real world. See what I did? 2 minutes before, this was unplanned. I got my credit card from my wallet, and then I put it in my pocket, and I said to my group, guys, watch what I'm about to do. Just trust me. I'm gonna spice things up, okay? So blah blah blah. So introduction came, and then someone went, and it was my turn. And then I literally I took my spot, and I said thank you to whoever for your slide. And then as for me, I'm going to be talking about the market share. And I was looking straight at my professor, and I was like, before I get to my point, I want everybody to look at me, and just mentally check in. And then I grabbed my BMO card from my pocket, and obviously I covered the number, right? I put up, whoever has a BMO bank card or who's part of BMO, put your hand up. 2 people out of 60 people put their hand up. And then I looked at the professor and I smiled, and I was like, perfect. This raised back to my point that BMO's market share is completely insignificant, completely less than the rest of the banks. Blah, blah, blah. Or I completely forgot what I said, but something like that. And then Phil Davidson, my professor, started laughing. Like, it was crazy. And then, bro, he came up to me after class. That was the last day of class. And he was like, bro, that was well done, what you did there. And then, I was like, okay, big dog. But yeah, like, literally, it's just communication makes life for other people as well so much better. So much better.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our personal story, guys.
Yeah. And just, I keep also telling this guy, we got to get out there, bro. Communication is key, man. We're trying to push, trying to go out everywhere. We're trying to communicate. We're going to, trust us, bro. We're going to get far because of us talking, literally to the screen and to other people. You'll see.
Yeah, this is a rehearsal for us as well. We were just talking to each other about this, that we both thought we were good speakers. And then we, like, for example, when I'm making the TikToks, I'm like, what am I saying?
Right?
I'm like, what am I even trying to say here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I don't understand what I'm saying, then clearly no one else has any idea what I'm trying to say either. So it's good for us because it helps us understand that we need to get better at speaking as well. Yeah, communication, right? Like, just literacy in general.
That's honestly perfect. Yeah. Like, I actually love this podcast.
Yeah, me too.
Because we just talk. And it helps us to communicate.
But you know what I love more?
Anyways, I'm moving on to the next topic.
I love them. I love you guys.
We love
I
you.
love
We
you
love you.
guys.
We love you. We love you.
I love you guys.
Anyways, how to get. Oh, I'm dead.
Anyways,
Anyways,
next topic, guys.
next topic. How to get better at it. Did we already talk about
Yeah,
that?
we talked about that.
But
That's pretty much everything.
reading. Talked about reading, right?
Yeah, we did. We covered reading.
No, we didn't.
We did.
We didn't talk about reading.
Did we?
No.
Okay.
Cut this out again. Well, yeah, we didn't talk about reading. Because remember, we just talked about communication.
Okay.
So how to get better. Anyways, come back. And soon. Anyways, so now we're going to talk about how to get better at communicating and why getting better at communicating is also important. Go ahead.
I swear we talked about this.
No, we didn't. We're not talking about reading. All I said was we read before. We talked about reading more. But then we didn't talk about it helps you write. Better compensation of knowledge and more efficient.
Okay. Here. Let me start it. All right, guys. So another aspect of this is reading, and especially for me, since I'm in a law and society degree, I'm always having to read the textbook. And trust me, it is boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's very boring because there's so many pages I have to read, and half the times I don't even know what the reader is trying to say because there's so much knowledge and information. But it's good because at the same time, I pick up on things that I look at and I'm like, hey, this is very important and I need to make sure I understand this certain concept because I'll be tested on it later. And then I'll read over something else and I'll be like, okay, this is completely useless. I don't need to know this. So when you read, you comprehend the knowledge at an efficient rate. And that's exactly what I mean, where you realize what is important and what isn't. And for example, I know there are times where I read, and there's probably times where you guys read, where you read a sentence and you have no idea what it means. But the more you do that, the more you practice that, you'll be able to understand something quicker. And like that, you'll be able to retain more knowledge as well.
Mm-hmm.
And reading also helps you write. Right? It's like
and writing is important as well.
Yeah, writing's important as well. Like these two concepts, they're synonymous with each other. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. And like just to touch back to university, and because this guy is an arts major, and before, I used to troll. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're an arts degree, I'm sorry, it's just a meme. But I don't know. There is an actual degrade. Like it's actually like people in arts degree really do get degraded. Not even for memes, just like for real. Right?
Yeah, y'all are wrong though.
But that's what I'm saying. Arts degrees are actually, like doing more research and digging into it, arts degrees are very, very beneficial in life. Because, again, Jordan Peterson talked about this. It helps you read. It helps you write. What does those two help? Communication. What does communication help? All these other things that spire from communication, presenting, all these things. It helps you with your mental state and your knowledge and your, my goodness, IQ, I guess, maybe? I don't know. But reading and writing and literacy helps you with so many other things in life. You know what I'm saying? In business too. That's why I relate to an arts degree, is because in business there's a lot of reading and writing papers, and as well as communication. But it does go hand in hand. The better reader you are, the better writer you are. The better writer you are, the better reader you are. Blah blah blah. It goes hand in hand, and that relates to communication. The better reader and the better writer you are, the better you're able to communicate. And we already talked about why communication is important, but that is the correlation to why reading and writing and literacy is so beneficial for our society. And I believe there's a target on that, because we were there too, where we hated to read, we hated to write. Does that even make sense? We hated to read books and we hated to write things. Blah blah blah. Right? And I'm pretty sure if you are not in university, I mean, honestly, yeah, in university too, because one, you're forced to in university. You have to read, you have to write. And there's that psychological factor is where if you're forced to do something, you're more inclined not to do it. You're forced to read. Okay, I don't want to read anymore. When I choose myself to read, I'm having the best time of my life reading. I love to read. I love to read books that the textbook doesn't assign or the school doesn't assign, because that's my choice to read. That's my choice to write about. If you see me before ever in public, if I'm reading something, I'm taking notes on my MacBook if it's an ebook, because I love to read and write at the same time. Same with this guy. We're both reading business books all the time. We're all trying to mentally get better, psychologically get better in everything, because it helps us improve communicating. It helps us improve what to talk about. It helps us to learn new things. And again, I feel like there's an attack on society, because the more smarter the people are, the more powerful they are. You know, we don't have to tap into that conspiracy, but it's just facts. It's truth. You know?
Yeah, and we were talking earlier too about this, where it all starts at a very young age. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to relate to me here, but I used to love, if you were born like, let's say 2005 and before that, like let's say 1999, you probably know what Geronimo Stilton books are.
I love those.
Yeah, you probably know what Diary of the Wimpy Kid is. Maybe some kids today know it as well, but my point is, I used to have the entire set of Diary of the Wimpy Kid. Why? Because I found it entertaining. It was fictional. And at a young age, like, I think starting like 11, 12, or 10, maybe even, teachers, you get this sense, this notion that they're like, they degrade it. We're just like, oh, why are you reading a fictional book? What are you doing? You should be reading this. And then you start getting assigned readings and all this other stuff. And it makes you hate reading, because it's like, I don't want to read this. I don't even know what it's saying. And I remember we read like The Hatchet in like 6th grade, and we'd have to sit on the carpet while she would read it to us. And then she'd make other kids take turns. And I had a love and hate relationship with this teacher. She was nice, but I didn't like her. But she would do that, and kids get so bored of that, especially when there's no visuals. I'm a really visual learner. I love seeing things while I'm reading. That's why, like, on YouTube, when there's like a summary of a book and there's visuals in the background, even if it's not like directly from the movie of the book, but if it's just like showing what's going on in the book with the reading, I'm more inclined to like want to hear what the author is saying. And I feel like that's what fictional books do. They it breeds creativity. And like, you know, it's just like we're kids, you know, like there's no point in pushing such heavy books on us with heavy words at such a young age. It gets boring, and then you start hating it. Or even when teachers assign you to read, like, why are you assigning them to read? You know, I used to read books, but the moment I got assigned to read a book, I was like, yo, I don't want to do this. And it goes back to the psychological aspect of it, is that we're inclined not to do things when we're told to do them. But yeah, there's that side to it as well.
Yeah. But yeah, just relating back to the topic, we are forced to read a lot of things that don't even okay, for example, books in high school. I'll be honest, the really one book I really loved to read was To Kill a Mockingbird. If you read that book, you know it's amazing. But grade 10 English class, ELA 10. No, hold on. I'll be honest. Was my best class, like my best English class, because I loved the book that we read. It related to, like, it was like very like.
Which book was it?
To Kill a Mockingbird. I don't know if you read it before.
We read Romeo and Juliet.
No, didn't you read another fictional book?
We did.
Apart from Shakespeare?
We did. Actually, no, I don't think we did. Or maybe we did. I don't remember.
Yeah. But anyways, I just realized, like, I was thinking, like, after I graduated high school, I was like, why did my English grades just decline after every year? And it's because I really just loved to read myself, like, to my own individual self-will, to read a book. Yes, the teacher assigned it to me, but that emotion I had to that book because it was so entertaining and so interesting. That was the only book I really was like, okay, teachers should assign this more. And guess what? They banned it. They banned that book.
They banned
that book.
Why?
If I'll tell you the whole I'll tell you the whole like book, like what it's about after off camera. But they banned the book. The one book that I really love.
He hasn't even told me the reason. I've already imagined it in my head, and I know why.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy.
It's blasphemy.
But
It's
you know
ridiculous.
What are you, Stephen A. Smith? Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's crazy, and it is what it is. But it just, again, the psychological thing. Like, if your mom tells you to wash the dishes, you're not gonna want to wash the dishes. But if you're gonna go wash the dishes by yourself out of the kindness of your heart, you're gonna love washing the dishes. And that's the thing. Us humans, we need to fight this. Is we need to love to read, not for the sake of reading, but to attain knowledge and information. The reason to attain knowledge and information is so key is because it gives you, honestly, I'll say it helps you direct you in your life. The more knowledge you have, again, relates to your communication, and communication directs you towards a goal you're trying to achieve. Why? Because if you're motivated to do something, you're going to have needs. Those needs are going to relate to what your behavior and those decisions are going to create, right? So, for example, if I want to go into, let's say, software engineering, if I want to become a software engineer, that's a motivation and a desire I have internally, an intrinsic motivation to go to become a software engineer. What are my needs? I need to go get a degree, sure. I need to learn how to code, yeah. Next, I need to communicate and try to get to a firm or somebody I know or somebody to connect me to get to some place where I want to be. And how do I do that? I have to communicate. And those communications will help your decisions just go from left to right, from black to white, from A to B. Literally, it will help you, it will direct your life so much easier if you know how to communicate. There you go.
There you go, guys.
There you go.
There you go.
Anyways, you want to add anything?
No, we've pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys understand what we're trying to say. And if you get offended, that's good.
Yeah, we love you. Again, we're always open to a conversation.
Yeah, if you guys get offended, that's good, because that means you're probably in this situation and
or
it's true
it
to
hit you.
And it hit you. So learn from it. Use some of those techniques that we talked about. Apply it to real life. Apply it to your day-to-day life. Apply it to the conversations that you have with people you know or you don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys for watching or listening if you're on Spotify. And I think we might try to push for Apple Music.